Let's see. Let's see. Oh, right. We've seen the numbers popping up. That means we are connected. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Today is July 1st. Happy July 1st, 2024. Hope everyone's well. Today, Michael and I are coming together to talk about Onpassive again. Um, I just came back from a whole 4 days of championships for my daughter. So I may not have a lot to talk about. No, I have a lot to talk about, but my voice, it hurts when I talk too much because a lot of cheering to my daughter. Therefore, it's all Michael talking today. Hello, Michael. Great to see you.
Hey, Julie, welcome back.
Thank you. Talking about screaming. I'm so excited for what is going on. As everyone already take a look at our website and see the notes. There's some changes. So please go ahead. If you have any questions, please read the notes. And if you have any questions, there's an email you can send it to. Let's get started today. Today, Michael and I come together to talk about Onpassive, Unstoppable. For everyone who have been in Onpassive, knowing that Onpassive is do or die, right? Onpassive and it's unstoppable. When we are referring to a unstoppable that we're talking about today, I would like to really focus on the unstoppable mindset, which is really it fostering the resilient, the determination that we have experienced in Onpassive. We see it from our CEO, from everyone's that in Onpassive. We see how we are adapting to some of the changes and so on and so forth. So far, so today we can dive deep into how we are having this kind of mindset which leads us into the unstoppable business. And the unstoppable business is Onpassive. Yeah, really? Is that something sounds good to talk about? And I believe so, Michael.
Yes, I agree with you, Julie. Yes, it is a very important aspect of on passive. You know, being in a business where you know it's unstoppable, right? Uh, Again, you're guaranteed success, basically, right? Because who's going to stop it, right? We've been at this now, right, for a number of years. So you mentioned perseverance. If you want to win at anything, you have to persevere, especially in the game of life, right? You really have to. So you have to have that right mindset. You have to have a mindset whereby, you know what, comes what may, I'm moving forward. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to win, no matter what, no matter how long it takes. It's like if you have a task that you're trying to accomplish, and hey, some people, depending on the task, some people can get it done in an hour, let's say, but others, it may take them quite a few hours to get it done, right? You have some hobbies around the home that you may be doing, right? And for some people, because they have the skills, the know-how, etc., it takes two twos and they're done, right? I remember putting up a basketball net for my kids, them Julie, and it took us a little while to get it done, whereas somebody else would have come in and just boom, and it's finished in no time flat, right? But if you're determined, right, to make something happen, you're going to do it until it's done. Our CEO has that mindset: do it or die, which simply means he's going to do everything possible to make sure that this happens. Everything possible to make sure that we all win. That's the mindset you have to have, especially in business, right? Like we know that most companies they fail, most businesses fail, right? In the first few years, right? They're gone, right? And we've seen that. I'm sure a lot of us can attest to that. That we've been involved in businesses, that disappeared. It's not the norm for companies to be around for 15, 20 years, etc. That's not the norm, right? Because most of them do fail, in the short term, right? Yet we have a company, and especially a CEO, that says it's a done deal, right? So, which means it doesn't mean that it's done, right? It means that don't worry about it. You can relax. You can be calm because it's going to be done, right? We're going to do everything. No stone is going to be left unturned to make this happen, right? We will do what we need to do from our end, right, from the corporate standpoint, to make sure this will happen. People will come, people will go, etc. Just like we have founding members who've come, founding members who have gone. These things happen. It's part of business, right? But as long as you're determined, as long as you're willing to persevere, as long as you're willing to do all the heavy lifting that is needed to make sure that this is done, then you're unstoppable, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. And you have mentioned, and everything that you've said here, also representing the fact that how we see our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufareh, he has an impeccable mindset that we do or die, we deliver or depart, we go to hell every day to get it done, to go, go hell go to hell every day and back. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but that commitment is it's crazy. I've haven't seen or experienced with someone that is that way. um and then also that not only that he's committed to the delivering the over market values products and services. I mean, that kind of mindset, I believe it's all started to have a successful business. As we can see, and everybody knows, there's so many people here in the community of O-founders. We see that people are always stay together, doing it every day, and so committed into that relationship. And that is a kind of mindset that we have. And that's only based on the mindset of having an unstoppable business. We're talking about having an unstoppable mindset of helping humanity. I mean, there is so much into this subject that we could talk about, but that's a kind of mindset that we need. And if it's not easy, it is not easy, but that is something that I believe that we as the ambassadors or the founders of Onpassive, not only ourselves, but everyone, when we are starting a business and when we are doing something, any blockage, any obstacles, we got to get through in order to meet. And in order to have that kind of unstoppable mindset, we have to have a clear vision, or we have to know why are we doing this. What do you make of that, Michael?
Yeah, well, it's important that you understand what your mission, what your vision, what your goals are. That's important, right? Because if they're not meaningful to you, then why should they be meaningful to other people? And if they're not meaningful to you, then why will you have that, do it or die attitude? You're not going to have it, right? If it's something that's just frivolous, it's oh, let's do this. Oh, let's, you know what I mean? Like you have that attitude that is not that important to you. But if something is important to you, Julie, nothing is gonna stop you. Like, can you imagine? I'll use this example. Can you imagine that your kids them are in danger, right? And let's say you're scared of walking across bridges, right? Like you just can't walk across the bridge, but your child is somewhere in the middle of that bridge and they're just stuck, and they're hanging on for their dear life, right? You're telling me that you as a parent would not do everything in your power to get to that child in spite of the fear that you may have?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Your child is stuck on a roof, but you have a fear of heights, right? And so you're telling me you're going to do everything you can to get to that roof to save that child. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of attitude that we're talking about here when we're saying Onpassive is unstoppable, right? We have the right pieces that are there, the right people that are there, the right individuals that are involved, that are committed, right? They're committed. Like, you mentioned it, Julie. There's so many founders that, week after week after week after week, they're doing their webinars. You know what I mean? They're sharing information about On Passive. Like they're just committed. They're focused. They're logging into their OES. All these things that they're doing, attending other webinars and all these things, like religiously, right? Week after week after week after week, right? That's commitment. You know what I mean? Those are people that are serious about their financial future. They believe in On Passive. They believe On Passive is the solution that they've been searching for all their lives. And now that they've found it, they're not willing to let it go, right? That's commitment. You know what I mean? When you find that special someone, Julie, when you find a treasure, a pearl, a diamond, whatever is valuable to you, you're not willing to let that go, right? That's On Passive. We are not willing to let it go because we know the joy, the happiness, right? That it's going to bring to so many lives around the world that we are engaged on a daily basis. We are committed. So when you have people like that, and there's more than enough of us, right, that are committed like that, how can you stop this movement? Because we've said it many times that it's more than just a business. It's a movement. It's a revolution, right? When you have that in place, how can you stop it? There's a commercial that says it's hard to stop a train, right? Which is true. It is hard to stop a train. That's On Passive, right? On Passive is that train that's unstoppable, right? Because of all the various pieces, because of the fact of the value that it's going to bring to the marketplace, the fact of the many lives that will be changed by it. The whole idea of lifting humanity. A lot of people have said that before, Julie. You know what I mean? But in most cases, it's lip service, right? But we've seen the company actually help people already. You know what I mean? Actually donated funds and the different things, right? The gifts that's been given away, the cars and stuff like that, phones and laptops and what have you, right? We've seen people's lives changed already with On Passive, and we're just getting started. You know what I mean? When it's in full motion, how can you stop it? When you have a massive momentum, Julie, like it's like if you were trying to stop me, right? Like if I stood right there in front of you and I just leaned on you, it's very easy to stop me,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But if I, go 10 feet back and I'm running at you, it's gonna be a lot more difficult
Harder.
for you to stop me, right? Now, can you imagine I go 30 meters back now and I'm coming at you full speed? You better get out of the way, right? That's what we're talking about. That's On Passive. And On Passive has been building up momentum, building up momentum, building up momentum over the years. So guess what? The further we go, right, the harder it is to stop it, right? The best time for it to have been stopped would have been in the early stages, right? When there wasn't much traction. But as you build up with 10,000 founding members and 50,000, 100,000, 400,000, a million, you know what I mean? As you build up that steam, and the same goes for Brandon, a little bit of advertising, then you have a lot more advertising, a lot more marketing, all of that going on, you're building up traction, right? All the different partnerships, when you only have one partner, but then you have two, and then you have three. Again, you're building up momentum. So everything that the company has been doing, it's all about building up momentum, Julia. And then guess what? It becomes unstoppable. And that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely, Michael. And you've mentioned about the train is moving. Just really think about it when you're on the train, or the things that we always say when you're on the lion's back, you can't really get down. When you're on the train, going, miles, 100 miles a power, I don't know, fast train, I guess,
Mhm.
you know, miles per hour, you can't really get down. That means that you have to make a decision. You have to know your why you getting on that train, right? And in order for you to have that mindset, you got to understand why. And I think, and I believe that the unstoppable mindset is knowing your why, knowing your vision. Why are you doing this? And when there is difficulties, and when you are actually witness that visions, when you have that very strong mindset, it is a fuels for you to go through difficult times, right? I mean, in any kind of relationship, business relationship, personal relationship, the tasks that we do every day, we got to know why we're doing certain things, and knowing the purpose and knowing the visions of what we're doing, which is on passive. Come back to on passive visions. Mr. Ash Mufareh and everyone that involved in on passive know exactly what the visions of on passive, what the purpose of they are doing this. We wake up every day making millions of decisions every day, but we wake up every day, and the moment that we step down from our bed, we know exactly what we want. Do we know? And sometimes, the why, the purpose that we are doing, maybe we only have one spark of the why we do things, but then we continue to build on top of it. But if we know exactly why we're doing, having that unstoppable mindset, we will be able to go through a lot of difficult times, because nothing is 100% easy. In order for us to create or bring something to the full influence, we got to know exactly what we're doing, and we have the feel to go through that difficult times as well.
And you need it, right? Like you need it. You're again, I love sports, and you take someone playing a basketball game, right? You need fuel, right? You can't just go out there and run around for 40 minutes or so, right? Depending on what level you're playing at, right? You need fuel. You need to, whether people drink Gatorade or whether it's water, they need to refuel, energize themselves. And sometimes when you're at that verge, like running a marathon, you've seen people that come and they're like, maybe 10 steps, Julie, from the finish line, and they just can't go any further. You know what I mean? And someone comes along and help them get over that finish line, right? You're gonna go through adversity. You know what I mean? There, like you said, there's gonna be ups and downs. Life is about valleys and mountains, and you know what I mean, because it's just not smooth, right? People think we'll jump into a business and it's smooth sailing. Everything's just gonna be fantastic every step of the way, but that's not true. That's not being realistic, right? We know that you're gonna have ups and you're gonna have downs, right? But the great thing is you go from one top, right? And you may slip a little bit. And then the next time you go to a higher top and you may slip a little bit. And the next time you go to even higher top, you understand? You
Yeah.
keep getting higher highs, right? And so that is life, right? That is life. But when you're in part of a business that have, like I said, all the pieces whereby people look at this and says, my gosh, they're still going at it. And that's right, we're still going at it, because we know many other companies who've gone by the wayside already, right? That were only around for 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 1 year, maybe 6 months, sometimes even a month, Julie, right? They do exist, right? And so here we are, right? Still holding up that banner, right? Still moving forward because we know what the task at hand. We know what the goals are. We know what we're trying to accomplish, Julie, right? We know how we want to impact other people in a positive way, right? We want to be able to provide value upon value upon value with every single product that this company produces. That's the goal. Doesn't matter if it's a free product, doesn't matter if it's a paid product. Every single product must have some value, otherwise it will not be created. It will not be put out there to the marketplace, to consumers, right? And so when you have, again, that mindset, Julie, right, where everything you're doing is the best of the best, right? You're not leaving anything to chance, right? You are willfully putting in place the best version of every single product, right? So that people can experience that real value, that lasting value, that whether there's any money involved or not, they're willing to use that product because it's about the products themselves. And so when you have that mindset in the maker, the creator, the CEO of the company, it becomes unstoppable, right? It becomes unstoppable because you are that determined to make sure that is the case. You want to make sure everything you're doing is cost effective, right? Not cost effective for the company per se, but cost effective for the end user, And that is so important. A lot of companies go about making things cost effective for themselves, right? By, we want to spend the least amount of money as possible and just get the product out there. That's usually the mindset that corporations have, that businesses have, right? Whereas what our CEO is saying that no, we want to make sure the end user, that's how they're perceiving and that's how they're receiving the value of the products that we're creating, right? That they see it, that it's cost effective for them, right? Not for the company. Because when you do that, you have a customer for life.
Mhm.
And that's what we want to build. Because when you have customers for life, guess what you also have? You have income for life.
Right.
Okay? Because somebody has to sell that product. Somebody's going to benefit from the sales of that product, right? And so when you given the end user, and they become a customer for life, then now you have an income for life. And that's what we're all looking for. We want income, right? We want commissions, right? We want all of that that's going to be here for generations to come. And how you get that is by having customers for life. That's another reason why on passive is unstoppable, Julie.
Yes, and also, there are a lot of changes and adjustment in terms of strategies, market conditions, customer needs, and even the internal challenges. I mean, we face that every day, right? We face that every day. We have to really embrace the changes. We have to embrace the adjustment. And because our vision, our why, our unstoppable mindset is so strong, and that's the reason why there are changes in life. I mean, everything, nothing is set in stone, right? There are adjustment, there are changes that we need to, we're facing difficulties, and all we got to do is actually embrace the changes and the adjustment that we're facing, in order for us to have what we have, in order for us to meet our end goal, or in order for us to meet our end users. Talking about the branding too, Michael, I mean, on passive never stop talking about the brand of on passive. Always, you've seen a lot of notifications every single day that on passive is putting out things that is happening, or things that on passive has to the world. And all we got to do is go with the flow and be able to embrace that changes, that updates.
Yeah, I mean, again, changes is a part of life. There's no doubt about it. And we know that most people don't like changes. They don't. People will move, they're in a home, and they don't want to move ever again. You know what I mean? But maybe it makes sense for you to move, right? Sometimes you're just finding yourself in a situation and you have to be able to adjust. It wasn't what you thought it was going to be. Quick example, my daughter, her first year of university, the coach that recruited her, right, for the first, well, coach left, went to another school. Okay, so what do? You say, oh, well, this is the coach I came in with, and because she no longer there, I'm gonna, not play, or what I mean, I'm gonna go to another university. No, you adjust. New coach comes in, you make the adjustment, right? Because that is life. We've seen that in the professional arena. We've seen it in various universities, right? Whereby coach comes, sometimes that coach is only there for a year, you know what I mean? And you came because of that particular coach, but you make adjustments and you move on because it's bigger than one person, right? And that's our business. Our business is bigger than one person, right? So you're going to have people will come, people will go. That's just how it is. But you make the adjustments and you move on, right? Because if it's just based upon one person, Julie, chances are you're going to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If your business can't function without one individual, it's going to fail. You know what I mean? And I've seen that. I've seen companies that's been around for 20 plus years, right? But the driving force of that business was based upon one individual. And when that one individual decided to step down, the business doesn't exist anymore after 20 plus years. So it's important not to have your structure or your business based upon one individual. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's gone, right? I think there was a scenario where I think it was a trading platform, and it was based upon one individual. Right?
Hmm.
When that one person supposedly died, Okay, now whether it's true or not, that's a different story. But the point is, everything was based on that one individual. And when that individual disappeared, no one else had the passwords. No one else knew how to get into the systems, all these things. So guess what? The business died as a result, right? So we have to understand that yes, changes can happen, right? Even in businesses, right? But as long as it's not dependent upon one individual, there's no issues. You just continue to move forward. You make your adjustments and you go, right? Again, that's why Onpassive is unstoppable, Julie, because there's multiple pieces, multiple players, multiple people that's involved to make this thing happen. Yes, our CEO is there as the quarterback, right? Right? He's there to kind of manage everything, right? But it's not just on him, right? It's not just on him. It's not just on the CFO. It's not just on the CTO. It's not, what I mean. There's different pieces that comes together to make it a whole, right? Just like we talk about Catmo, it's not just one thing. There's the C, there's the A, there's the T. What I mean. All these pieces come together to give us what we're looking for. That's how business work, and that's how most effective businesses, right? That's what's going to happen. Check any one of those companies and see, right? It's not just one person, right? Because if it is, then that business doesn't have a going concern. That business doesn't have legs to stand on because it's going to fail if something happens to that one individual, right? So you have to have other people involved to make sure that you're here for generations to come. And that's what Onpassive has.
Absolutely, Michael. And then also, when we are doing what we're doing, we have a mindset of growing. We need to really embrace that growth mindset, which is really involved in the opportunity for us to learn, improve, continuously improve on what we have. And then also, we have to actually learn from our failures as well, because not everything that we do every day is successful, right? There's times where we fail. The decisions that we make, the difficult decisions that we fail based on the decisions we make. But yet we are not stopping there. We continue to embrace our growth mindset and learn from the failures. And then seeking feedbacks, we have a lot of people giving feedbacks back and forth. And really, when we are fail and we are continue to have that mindset, we really acquire new skills and new knowledge. And that's what Onpassive is doing, is that we, no matter what, we are embracing what we're doing today, but yet we actually could adjust and grow with that changes as well. And that's how we see in on passive, not only just the product or the services, but the entire system. Because what you brought back, Catmo, all of that has to be interconnected to each other in order for us to have what we have.
There's a great book that I've read some years ago, Julie, called Unstoppable, right, by Cynthia Kersey, right? And the book just basically gives a whole bunch of examples, I think like 40 plus examples, I believe, of different people's story of perseverance, of triumph, right? Just regular folks, right? And I encourage everyone out there, if you can get a chance to get a copy. This was years ago. I read the book. It could be over 20 years actually, but I'm sure it's out there. Again, Unstoppable by Cynthia Kersey, and it's a great read. For people to kind of dive deeper into the mindset. When we're talking about something that's unstoppable, how individuals can be unstoppable, right? Not just businesses. I know over the years, I've seen a lot of great players. I've played with a lot of great players, etc. And there's some guys that were just unstoppable. You just can't stop them, because they're so determined, Julie. You know what I mean? They have their goal, and they know where they're trying to get in life. Whether they're in high school and they're trying to get a university scholarship, whether they're in university and they're trying to get to the pros, whatever the case may be,,, they're just so determined, so focused, right? They're not all over the place, Julie. You know what I mean? They're not doing 10, 15 different things. You know what I mean? They know, you know what, I want to play football and that's it, right? I want to play basketball. I want to play tennis, you know, whatever the case may be, golf. You know, I look at my son now, he's a pretty good golfer now, right? But he wasn't always a good golfer, you know. Again, when you're determined, right? When you make up your mind that, you know, no one's going to tell me that I'm not going to be good enough. No one's going to tell me that I don't know what I'm doing or I can't win. I can't. None of that stuff. You just focus on what you want to accomplish, right? And that's our CEO. He's focused. He's so determined, right, that nothing's going to throw him off to the left or to the right, right? Make the adjustments and you move forward, right? And that's what we have, Julie. That's what we have in Onpassive. Onpassive is unstoppable. I remember our CEO said one time, well, many times actually, that only God can stop Onpassive. And I believe that absolutely, right? I believe that wholeheartedly, Julie. And that is, to me, I take that as a fact, right? Because what we have is not the norm.
Yeah.
It's just not your run of the mill company. It just isn't. Nobody builds a company like this. This is not how you go about doing it. You know what I mean? To be a normal company, right? But there's nothing normal about Onpassive, right? There just isn't. Because if it was, folks, we'll be in a losing battle, right? Because all those normal companies, they don't have a whole bunch of winners, right? They have a handful of people who are winners and the majority of people are losers, right? And it's a sad reality, right? But it is what it is. But here we have a company where we're all winners, right? 100%, not 99%, not 98%, not 95%, 100%. We're all winners, right? That's why this company is unstoppable because we're doing things the right way. We are ensuring that people get the success that they're looking for. We're ensuring that people who've had dreams, aspirations, all these things, that it's going to become a reality for all of them, Julie. That's what Onpassive is about. And when you have that kind of mindset, how can you be stopped? When you want to do things the right way, how can you be stopped? Right? It's very difficult. And when you've created a movement, right, which is what Onpassive has done, how can you be stopped? Very, very difficult, Julie. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, when we have the unstoppable CEO and unstoppable company, we really bring it down to each and every single one of us individually. Do we have the unstoppable mindset? Do we know what we want? Why are we using the product? Why are we become a user of Onpassive product? Why do we become an affiliate of Onpassive products? Right? So we really have to really come down to each and every individuals of us. Why do we want what we want? And if our determination and our commitment to get to where we want, and we have the unstoppable CEO, um, are we going to match on with that speed, with that level, or we stop because of some difficulties or some changes? Are we be able to embrace the changes that's happening um, in what we are dealing with every single day? Really talking about a little tiny story that's over the weekend. As you know, we came back from the volleyball championship, and there was one of the game that we were facing. We started with we were 9 points below the other team. The girl, normally they would like, oh my god, we just finished the game, right? But they played with the encouragement, the cheering from the parents, and the unstoppable mindset of our coach. They were able to not only meet up the point, won the set, and won the second game, won the second set and the entire game. That was amazing. We had the best time uh, looking at the girls, 14 years old girls, are playing together with that mindset. We're going to win this game. And that was amazing. That is the kind of, and in the middle, actually, in that game, the coach changed their rotation, changed their lineup from the beginning. And that's why they didn't do very well at the very beginning. 9 points. It was a big gap. And as an from my understanding, is any kind of game when you're playing together and you leave that big gap between the teams, it's very hard to adjust it back. But because all of us was sending positive vibe, we were so cheering up. That's why I lost my voice now. But the girl were able to won that set and was able to one second set, and obviously they win that game. So we did very well. But that, I believe, it has to be coming from all the players as well. And talking about the players, we all coming to the game supporting someone. We either supporting the team that playing, or we are the team, the players. Where are we? Are we going to be the players, which is on the court? We want to bring the team to the winning point, or even if we are on the stand cheering for a team, our goal is also to bring our team to the winning point. Which one are we? Right, when we are doing what we're doing, we are working very hard toward that point. And that's exactly how our CEO, the team behind the scenes, are working to bring Onpassive to the winning point. We are already winning. However, we can win in a bigger way. And
Well,
that's exactly.
we have hundreds of thousands,
Mhm,
right? Hundreds of thousands of individuals, Julie, who are cheering for On Passive,
mhm,
you know,
yeah.
every day, right? Every day that are cheering for On Passive, getting them, over the finish line, right? That's how unstoppable we are. These people, they're not wavering in their belief, right? Because it's either you believe or you don't. Like, it's, to me, it's just cut and dried. It's just that simple. It's either I believe something or I don't believe it, right?
Yeah.
I'm never, in between, on the fence. None of that stuff. I take a stance and I stick with it, and I roll with that, right? And so when I looked at this company, right, and I decided to get involved, I saw everything that I needed to see, Julie. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't looking for something that's going to be here for a few years and then that's it. I
Mhm,
wasn't looking for a business whereby I'm going to go in there, make a lot of money, and nobody else is going to make any money. I wasn't looking for any of that, right?
that's right.
I wanted something that's going to be lasting, that's going to be here for my children, them, and for their children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? To be able to have something that I can say, okay, here's my legacy, right? This is what I did for my grandchildren now. You know what I mean? Right?
Right.
That they're going to have that leg up, right? That they're going to have that head start in life, right? It makes such a huge think of we know that lots of students, they go to school, and when they finish, they have this massive debt, Julie, right? That's not a good place to start. You know what I mean? Right? You don't want to start out life, right? You're, I don't know, 22 years old, 24 years old. You're getting out there, you finish school, you get a job now, but you're starting out in the negative. You have a deficit, you have debt, student loans, right? That you have to pay for. And I know people who've gone on 10, 15, 20 years, Julie, before they actually pay off the student loans. That's
Exactly.
crazy. Like, how do you actually live? You know what I mean? As opposed to, you're able to go to school, your school's all paid for, you start out 22, 24, 25, whatever age, right? And you have no debt. It makes a huge difference, right? And that's what we're talking about with On Passive, in that be able to have a business that's going to give the next generation a head start. You know what I mean? Because you'll be able to help yourself, right? You'll be able to take care of your family, right? And still have leftovers to be able to help others, right? But you're going to be able to set up your family in such a way that they're going to have a head start financially in life, right? And that's how you do it, Julie. Think of, some of these giants, like the Walmarts of this world. You know what I mean? Think of some of those hotel chains, right? And how, the children and the grandchildren and so on. We're talking about legacy, right? We're talking about, Paris Hilton comes to mind, right? When you think of what the parents and the grandparents and so on, what they've done, right? The Walmart kids them, right?
Mhm,
I say Walmart because everybody knows the company, right? So I say the Walmart kids. That's not their last name. Okay. Right. So just so that we're clear, right? That's not their last name, right? But the point is, when you look at the kids, them, the children, them, right, and how the billions have been divided up. I mean, that's leaving a legacy, Julie. You know what I mean? Right? That's what we're talking about, folks. Again, we're not saying that we're going to leave billions of dollars for our generations. We're not saying that. We're just saying that you'll be able to have, that you can create a legacy fund, that you can be able to, create that financial dynasty for your family, right? Absolutely, right? There's no doubt about that. Because when you deliver products or have a model such as Onpassive, right, whereby everyone wins, how can you not? You know what I mean? Even with abuse, right? Financial abuse, that is, right? Even with that, Julie, people still going to be able to stand for generations to come, right? And so that's why I say it's either you believe or you don't. So when you look at everything that this company has gone through, what they're going through, what they've put together, what they've done, what they continue to do, right? What's behind the scenes that has not come to the forefront as yet. When you take everything into consideration, Julie, how can you walk away not thinking that, wow, this company is unstoppable? Because it is unstoppable, right? It really is. And of course, uh, in time, people will be able to see it, right? They say seeing is believing, right? For some people, they have to see certain things for them to actually believe that. And that's okay, right? Not everybody is a visionary. Not everybody, can see beyond sight, and that's fine, right? But the bottom line is that we have a company, Julie, that's going to be changing so many lives. That's the exciting part about Onpassive. It's going to change lives for the better. Because when you think about it, the companies who have changed people's lives for the worse, right? Those are usually companies where people, put out thousands of dollars and like crazy stuff, right? 25,000 here, 50,000 there, a million here, and so on and so forth, right? Here's a company where people basically got it for free, got everything for free. When you really add it all up, when you look at having access to our first paid product for all this time, and all the value that people have actually received, when you look at all of that, Julie, we can honestly say people haven't really spent anything at all. And for those who want to say no, 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 I put money, okay, fine. You paid $97 to get in, right? Maybe you bought the product one time, okay, so you spend a couple $100. Really, right? What we can say is here's a company that there's no doubt that it's going to have a positive impact. It's going to leave people in a positive place. That is huge, right? That is huge, right? To be able to leave people in a positive place, because for too long, so many companies have left people in a negative place. People are still trying to recover from the last business that they were in, that didn't do them right. You know what I mean? There are lots of people like that around the world. No one, not even one person, can say that about Onpassive. Cannot.
That's
This is
right.
why the company is unstoppable, Julie. It just is.
That's it. That's a wrap, everyone. That's beautifully said, Michael. Therefore, in order for us to have that unstoppable mindset and being with something that is unstoppable, like Onpassive, we really have to know why we're here, why we are doing it. So I do hope that every single one of us, if you haven't really know why you're doing this, whether or not because an opportunity to help us making money or just to be the best version of ourselves, let's write those down, right? Because I think if we really go through why we are doing this, um, and focus on what we want, we will have that unstoppable mindset, because on passive, it is unstoppable. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hope you have a blessed week.